welcome to Beautiful Subconscious. I'm Shell Marie. Oh my God, it's been awesome the last month at least. So much has been happening. Firstly, July, at the time of recording this, birthday month. I love it. There's always got a little bit of a buzz for me in July. And, you know, I'm not over in Europe where many people I've seen have ransacked my Instagram and I can just see them doing their thing. And I loved when I did have a birthday over in Europe and just like the Northern Hemisphere in the summer. But regardless of where I'm at, like just July is always such a fun month. You know, I spoke at a gala, which was amazing for Co-Create, their first birthday gala. And this was on behalf of 20 Talk. And they are representative of mental health. And I am so passionate, I'm just so all about people's mental and emotional welfare, everyone's internal welfare. And it's interesting. It was such a real therapeutic process to write your story, so to speak. And I'll do an episode on it, I reckon. But it was really nice to just unpack events that don't necessarily realize have made such an impact on your life or how it's kind of contributed to the trajectory of who you've become. And so that whole process of writing, in inverted commas, your story was really, really powerful. And I was actually inspired by my own story. And I say that from a real place of, I hope it's coming across humbly, but I just think it's really beneficial for us all, in my opinion, just to stop and recount or, just how life has unfolded from start to finish and really breaking down, say, your lives in, quadrants of where it started, the good and the bad, and, going through it and just taking out those beautiful nuggets of experience and imprints that have helped form the person that you are and the journey that you're on. It was really profound. So I loved that, Simultaneously, we're doing teacher training for kinesiology. We're finalizing that. So, I'm really excited to get my first cohort through. If you're based out in Perth, it'll be in person. And just to give people the tools on how to really channel into their own innate intelligence. And I know when people come see me, either online or in person, they almost look like this mystical thing that I'm doing. And yes, I understand because I definitely felt that same way when I stumbled across kinesiology and my kinesiologist and especially my kinesiology mentor. And then the most amazing thing occurred is that I learned to do exactly that and become one of the, and I feel like my purpose is being the bridge of making this so accessible for the people that don't necessarily fall into the category of woo-woo, and they're not really much of a meditator or by no means meditate for like 4 hours straight on the top of a hill somewhere. They're just like, I love a margarita. I love to go out. My mind gets the best of me sometimes. I get emotional and I don't understand why. My body does things that I'm just not understanding of. And so this bridges the gap between how and why those things happen simply by asking your body and learning how to ask your body very specific questions. And I feel really honored, and I believe it's a part of a purpose of mine is to be that person that can be like, she seems relatable. She, swears and does all the things and is still navigating, in relationships too. And I feel really fortunate in the relationship that I'm in now. Like, my partner, we want to work consciously together, and it's, you're coming face to face with all of our stuff individually. And it's such a ride. And I think coming and growing up from a family that was so disconnected in a sense, like we were under the one roof. Well, not always actually. My dad was working overseas, but metaphorically we'd be under the one roof and we would all be living separate lives. So that connection of someone knowing and understanding you so innately and deeply, it's a lot. And, this is what I called for, and this is what I'm really, really am grateful to have. And, my siblings and I were super, super close, and we have that now, but, it was just interesting. So to be that bridge between everyone, the people that might not identify as, necessarily spiritual and just wanting to understand themselves a bit more. So today's episode, I'm inspired by the Olympics. I've always been inspired by the Olympics. I'm excited that they've started. I was always such a gun in my running growing up when I was a kid. Look, I'm living on the I'm living out my primary school dreams. High school, I wasn't much at all, wasn't into it because, of course, my priorities changed. But in primary school, I was a weapon. I would be so good at all the sports. I would be super, super quick. I was known as like the next Kathy Freeman, and just you put me in any sport and I would do really well in it. And I loved that ability. It just seemed to come quite naturally, and I had that zest and that gusto to win. And so when the Olympics would come around, I used to watch it and just feel that buzz of sport. I used to fax them, and we had a fax machine. I used to write to Kathy Freeman, like, I did so good. I was watching you in Perth, Australia, win that gold. You're my inspiration. Probably with every spelling mistake that there was, but it just has always had such a special place in my heart. And, the more that I embark on this work, and it's been in the forefront of my mind for well over 10 years now, but it's just like for people to get to that level, for people to draw upon their eliteness, it takes a lot of inner work and a lot of outer work. So that is what I want to talk about on this episode today. But before we get started, of course, we got to pull a card because that's what we do. So I'm going to pull these out, and we are going to pull a card. So when you listen to this will be your little spot of inspiration, a little message from you to you. I am grateful for the challenges and life lessons. Perfect. So given that we're talking about approaching your life with that Olympic spirit, I'm grateful for all the challenges and life lessons, because, you don't make it to the Olympics without a bunch of challenges and a bunch of life lessons and a bunch of personal lessons along the way. You just don't get to be that level of expert without the adversity to really expand yourself on. So as always, that works so perfectly. So I guess, starting with that then, how does one have the resilience to keep showing up through the challenges? How do they stay on song with their own self-belief? How do they channel, the things that happen in inverted commas to them and make it happen for them? And that's what I want to speak to you all about today. So in my approach to how I visualize or how I see the Olympians or people from elite sport or who are there at the top of their game, they have mastered their subconscious. They have mastered specifically 4 areas of it. And that is your Buddhic system, your belief structures. So what they believe about themselves. Like they're not getting up there and I can't, I'm not worthy. I can't do, I won't be able to do this. I was like, I fear failing. Yes, they probably have had those fears and they probably have definitely circulated those beliefs, but they have found a way to work in conjunction with those old beliefs and transmute it into not being an overpowering noise for them. They've worked out how to master their own belief systems to a certainty, whether they have done the inner work where they are the certainty of their self-belief, like I can and I will. This is what I deserve. I am worthy and I am capable. I am the best just because I am me. Like they would be having such knowingness to their core of what they believe. I could imagine it would get like anything, it can get rocked from time to time, but the baseline of where they hold themselves in their self-belief is of a higher and of elite standard. And that's everything, that's their foundation where everything is built upon. The next is their mindset. So what they're letting into their mind every day, what they're not allowing in, what they're telling themselves, what they're visualizing, like how it's playing out, what they can see, who's the version of themselves that's accomplishing that, what does that outcome look like, what will they be doing when that happens? Like they have either got that visual so crystal clear or they've got the thoughts of themselves in what they're going to just focus their mind on and blocking out all the other noise. So the next thing that they've mastered is their mindset, is their mental being. The next is their emotional being. They've mastered their emotions. So whether they're in inverted commas good or bad, or they're the limiting fear-based emotions, they have found a way to either block them out or transmute and channel those emotions to make them work for them. Like a little extra sauce. Like, yes, I feel you fear. I'm going to go anyway. Yes, I feel like so sick to my stomach with nerves, but I'm going to just channel that and just show up. Yes, like I'm infuriated, like I didn't do as, but I am going to just put that aside and I'm just going to show up again. I'm going to dust myself off and I'm going to jump back on. They've found a way to process and transmute their emotions and then get back up and just get back up and just get back up. And being able to channel your emotions so you don't become them is such a beautiful, very elite skill to master. The next is their physical being. They're priming themselves every day with practice. They're showing up longer than others. They're putting in the work on a physical level. They're putting in the work on not only a visible level, say your physical body, but they're also putting the work in on their invisible body, like the mindset, the beliefs, their emotions. They're doing the work. They're putting the practice in. They're physically showing up for themselves every single day. So these are the 4 things that they've mastered: their beliefs, their mindset, their emotions, and their physical being. So if you were to take that and template that into your life and you be showing up with that same level of standard in your own arena, on your own main stage, how would life change for you? What are you seeing for yourself? What does your Olympic gold medal look like for you? What does that look like? And that'll be different from everyone. Everyone at the Olympics, they're showing up in their own sport, in their own lane. And they're wanting to be the best in that. Not the best in all of it, but just the best in that. And that is what I love. They've got that same zest, that same determination and resilience and tenacity just to do really, really well. They expect that excellence from themselves in their field of passion and purpose and zone of genius. Not only that, they have got a team of people who support them. They've got a team around them that they're allowing to support them. They're making sure that they have the best of the best around them so then they can be the best. So I ask you, do you have the same? Who's your support system? Who's your support network? Who's the best of the best that you're hanging around? And are they the best of the best for you? If they're not, then how are you going to be in that Olympic arena, that Olympic stage of your own world, if you're allowing people that aren't in that same caliber of energy, or they don't hold that same vision? And they're okay to fail. These Olympians, they have failed time and time and time again, and they're okay to. They know it's all part of it, and they're probably grateful for it. They're grateful for their challenges and their life lessons because they know it makes them better. They don't let their challenges or their failures define them. They, again, channel these failures like their emotions, and they make them work for them to be better than they were the day before, to be better than what they expected from themselves yesterday. And it's not from a place of lack, like they're nothing unless they do better. They know that they're worthy to be better because consciousness is always expanding. There's always going to be that next level of growth, that next level of gold medal, so to speak. And they're okay to keep going for that because they're like, what else could I allow myself to experience? What else can I ask of myself? That's the standard that they hold for themselves. So in your world, where are you not showing up with that Olympic state of mind? Where are you not believing in yourself to that point where I deserve to be on this main stage of my own arena? Where is your mind forever circulating? What are you allowing yourself to believe? What are you allowing yourself to think? What are you allowing yourself to feel about yourself or the situation or your future or your relationship or your money? Any area of your life, what are you allowing yourself to feel, and what emotions are taking over you in those areas? And then how does that affect your health? How does that affect your body? How does it affect your confidence and how you show up? In the mornings, are you jumping out and being like, no, I command more for myself? Or maybe you deserve the rest. And it's just knowing what is the intention behind it. What's the level of standard that you're holding for yourself? Are you holding that Olympic approach to your life? And what would that look like if you did? Imagine if you just showed up in those exact things with your beliefs. You're like, I'm so clear on my beliefs. I'm so clear on where my mind's going. I know my emotions may be up, but I'm going to use and channel them because I'm that powerful. My body, she's pristine. It's a state-of-the-art machinery, just like the Olympians have got dialed up. They have got the ability to understand how incredibly powerful they are. And they can feel the synergy of everyone else in and around these arenas who have worked for 4 years and more, probably their whole lives to get to this moment. And so that buzz in the air, the expectations, the nerves, the electricity, how are they channeling that? Imagine if you just allowed yourself to the ability to be able to channel in and block everything else, utilize that and surf the electricity of greatness. How much would your life change? And that is what this work does. This is what I love, is the ability to know that we can absolutely transform any area of our lives. We can use the energy in and around us and in the most divine form of it, manipulate our reality, manipulate our outcomes, manipulate the way that we show up and what our world and our outcomes achieve simply by mastering our subconscious. So I would love for you just to see if you could apply even 5% of crystal clear beliefs, your mindset, your emotions, your physical body. What would that look like in your own arena, coming and showing up every day with that Olympic state of mind, showing up with that game plan and that long run. Like everyone wants to get to the Olympics when they're in their field of genius, their own state of Olympics, but they can see that end game, but they're focusing step by step. Like, this is what I need to do now. They're not overwhelmed. They're in it bit by bit, showing up for themselves. So I would love for you just to apply that level or just play around with it, get curious on what that could be like and just see how much that changes your life. So that's that. I would love to hear what you take from this episode. If you apply that, please just see what it's like. And if you know that someone could really benefit from this episode, like, you know what, imagine if they, like, I see that they are all, we all are, let's be honest, an Olympian here. If they just applied that, imagine what life could be like and should be like and deserve to be like. So that's it for me. Let me know what you think of this episode. Share it around. If you're wanting information on the kinesiology teacher training that I'm doing, if you're here in Perth, please hit me up. I would love to be able to share with you in person these tools and teach you how to really catalyze the power that you've got within and just change the way that your everyday is. It doesn't have to be that Groundhog Day if that's what it feels like. So until next week, take care of you.